Welcome to Adventures for Connection. We need to get this change down here, Norma, because it should say with Tanya and Norma. So yeah, welcome, Norma. How are you?
Good. About you, T?
Awesome sauce. Yeah, we've been laughing all day today. So we have some interesting topics for today, and we would love you guys to put in some vibration around this. It came up in the Q Lounge for FCB today in regards to why are some people well awake and aware, and it's easy for them to see through the illusion, and for others, it's not so easy. And we thought we could chat about that. Hi, FCB. Hello, everybody. Good to see you. Excited to have you here. And I'm sure that over on Cindy, there she is over on Facebook. Hi, Cindy. Yeah, feel free to drop in the chat. We know that everyone here is well aware and awake. And I don't know, Norma, why don't you share your story first, then I'll share a little of mine. Hi, Molson.
Which story?
The story of how you sort of really became aware of things in the world that is a bit of an illusion. Everything's not as it appears.
Well, honestly, I won't say that I was ever really had a point where I came awake. It was more of that throughout the life I've been living. I was just aware of things, just not at the level that I am now. And so it wasn't until about 2022, around August, that I started paying attention to a lot of what was transpiring and taking place that I just wasn't paying attention to between 2016 up until that point. And so what I was doing was I was just going through Rumble and YouTube and just catching up on all the stuff that was transpiring and taking place over the time that Trump was in office as the president. And it just started clicking with me, everything that was taking place, that it felt like this was a part that I'd been waiting on for years, that I had been feeling something big was meant to happen. So as I did that towards the end of the year, all it was then was just seeking the truth of what's the truth of all this? What's the truth of all this beyond, the government and, what it was representing and what it was, putting out there as to what they were trying to accomplish. Because for me, I knew it was something larger than just what was being presented. So at that point, I started going more into the higher aspects of, beyond what I was seeing through TV, to come to an understanding where I was and what was had taken place and where it was at at the time that I had caught up to what was going on. So then it was just give me truth. That's all I want. I just want truth. And so things just began to present themselves on their own to me, because at this point my focus was just the truth. What is it that I feel that's beyond all of what has taken place and transpired, and the purpose and reason why? So at this point in time, this is when everybody was like, oh, we're awake to this, we're awake to that. And I'm like, okay. So more and more people were just becoming more aware, in my perspective, of everything that we didn't know that was going on in this world, and just being told about it, so that way we could begin to shift who we were, so that way we was able to take responsibility for not paying as much attention to what was taking place. So for me, it led me to watching FCB and you coming on, and me immediately knowing the energy being that you are. That's how we got connected, and here I am.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But you've always been on this quest.
Yes.
In a way, right? And like myself, I never quite really fit in to the societal norm.
No.
I was
always told you're too much. Yeah, you're too much, and you you make those choices to do what you could to just get by each day, trying to figure out where could a connection be made.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hi, Cheryl and Eddie. Hi, Roberta. Awesome. Good to see all you guys. Hi, 17Q. Good to have you on here. We love you guys. You know, we wouldn't be here without you. And I just want to comment that we are so proud of you, of how far you've come, because even as we go through this process, it's really more about our individual truth. What is true for us based on our beliefs, the way we were raised, where we were raised, I think had a big part to do with it. How long did you stay in school? How many, right? Did you go on to be a nurse or a doctor, or did you go on to be a lawyer, for example, or a teacher? So the more time you spent in that school, the more that was your tribe, so to speak, right? That's who you fit in with. And so based on the beliefs and the way we're raised and our experiences as we're growing up, how our parents were, how your teachers were, how your first job was, and just, in reality, you just want to be kept safe. And so I'm grateful that I never fit in. I'm grateful that I always passed, like I just would look the other way when something was going on. And no matter what's going on in the world, I've really come to believe it's irrelevant to what's going on inside of me, what's happening for me, what's being shown to me as truth. And, if the universe is just a reflection of what you're thinking, speaking, saying, and doing, and then we are responsible for anything outside of us. And yes, taking the control of that responsibility back and being really responsible for ourselves, right? And making sure that, it's not for us to influence others, because everyone's got their free will. And so, as frustrating as it is when somebody doesn't see things the way you see them, or the way this tribe sees them, that's okay, because they're right where they're supposed to be in their journey and their path. And so definitely, as we go through this, it becomes more and more important to work on self. What makes you tick? What makes you happy? What beliefs do you still have that maybe you need to shift and change? Because in that constant change, as uncomfortable as much as maybe fear might come up, or frustration or anger, these are all just showing you things that you yourself can work on. Yeah. And so be grateful you didn't fit in, because we're here to create a different type of world and a new way of being, one where it is showing we're all connected, and that love, we can lead with love all the time. We don't have to conform to anything, and be responsible to ourselves. So for everything you say, do, think, that you're responsible for it. You take full responsibility of that, and then things start to shift. Yeah, Marcia, ex-nurse here. Yeah, good for you. Molson says, I never really fit in either. Yeah, no, and I think that's one of the reasons, if if we were the misfits and we were the round, the round dowel trying to go into the square hole and it's not fitting, then that's great. So yeah, taking that responsibility. And there's a lot of people just kind of coming out of the illusion even now. And you have to remember, that's a lot to take on. That's admitting that everything you believed your entire life to be true is bullshit. And that can be really discombobulating. Can you add to that, Norma?
Of course, I grew up in a family that had specific beliefs themselves, and especially my mom. But like yourself, I mean, in school and going to these places that wanted you to conform to a specific belief system, I just never could. I was just so rejective of it because there was so much contradiction to me, even at a young age. I was like, I don't get this. I don't understand how it is you speak one thing about what it is you're wanting me to accept, yet I could see the contradiction in what I was being taught. And so it was the same way for me in school. It was like I didn't pay attention in school because I was like, I don't resonate with this, even at a young age. So it was one of those that I just skated by the skin of my teeth in school because I just didn't want to, that the information just was not resonating with me. However, later on down in, as I got in my teenage years, it was like things just started clicking and I just started understanding it. It just all made sense. It's just like English. I struggled through English for a long time, and then boom, it just made sense. But I never could conform to anything that was of such a strictness of a belief. I just never could. I was rejective of all that because I just felt that there was something greater, something more, and I always allowed myself just to be led by the heart. So in that, I became a CNA, and I was a CNA for 22 years. I loved taking care of people, but being that rebel that we were, even in that, there was so much that I seen that I was so, I guess you would say, a lot of people didn't like dealing with me because I would always call them out on the lack of compassion and care and understanding of other individuals themselves. So it's it was a process for me to just always go through life figuring out if I was ever going to make a connection, a true connection. And the only way I could do that was with being a CNA and connecting with these individuals that taught me so much about being human, as well as the things that they could teach you about the life that they lived before you.
Absolutely. And so that actually comes into being empathic, right? So
Yes.
that's a label, as some people call it, but it is part of having empathy for others. Almost put us always into a bit of a, what I like to call the rescuer, that we would try and support and help because we had so much empathy, we went into sympathy, and then we wanted to support and help them. So that's something we're all trying to strive to be, is we can be empathetic without going into sympathy and rescuing people. So yeah, absolutely. And T Creel's mentioning, yeah, I turned to alcohol to fit in and escape. Absolutely. I think many of us did, or drugs or whatever we needed to do to numb down so that we didn't have to feel so much, that we didn't have to be so attached to it. So I just thought this would be a really good conversation. We'd love to hear some more thoughts from you guys. I see a bunch of rebels in the chat, so that's good. I moved out at 16 so that I didn't have to go to school as much, and I actually went to work. I missed a ton. I still passed. I think I got a C plus, but I wasn't there. I certainly wasn't there mentally, right? And having a job to me just made way more sense, to be able to be out and learning in the real world, so to speak. Yeah. And also brings to mind, it was entrepreneurship grade 11 and 12 that actually kept me in school, because I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Because I believe we all will be entrepreneurs in the future. We all will step up and use our own frequency and our energy, which is our currency, to be able to tap in and work with other people. So
No,
yeah, absolutely. And then some
Yes.
people say, hi, Cindy. Some people say that it's also has to do maybe with your blood type. And so certain blood types are not necessarily always been on this earth reincarnating constantly. And some of us came in at this time. And I do believe that, what blood type are you? Do you know, Norma?
I'm O negative.
You're O, and I'm O positive. So I believe O blood types, yeah, didn't originate here. So some of the it depends too on some of your genes and stuff. So can I prove it? No, but it's just one of those things that it kind of resonates and makes sense because the way we think and the way we behave is so very different. So B negative there. Yeah. A positive. Yeah. I'll have to try and find that sheet that I had that had all the different blood types and was kind of listing that. So absolutely.
Yeah, I know that my mom, she was AB plus, but she also had RH.
Oh,
So
interesting.
yeah, so it's one of those that even certain families can have a mother or father that has the RH. I can't even think of it now. Anyways, it's either RH positive or RH negative, and I've heard them speak about that blood type is an older blood type that's been around for millennia. So at this point, when you look at this world and this earth and how far it's come, at this point, is it important? If you say it is, it's important. For me, I just see spirit, I see soul, I see energy. As far as where the human flesh is concerned, it's a vessel to me. And I do the best I can to take care of it. I do the best to understand what it needs, what it takes to raise my vibratory state, to get the cells to do what needs to be done. The blood just is what it is. It's all red in the end. And that still is a connection, not a separation.
Yeah. I would say everybody in this chat, and that's right. There's nothing that's really separating us. I do kind of believe that blood types can thrive on specific diets based on your blood type. I have proven that one for myself. Yeah, no, and you know what, Penny Lane? It is just a guideline, so it is not truth and fact. Penny's saying is that eating for your blood type chart, they came up with a bunch of BS, or should we eat for our blood? You should eat what your body craves. That's the way I look at it. As Norma's saying, if you're paying attention to your body and what you're craving, or you can dose, right? That's how I would eat. Absolutely. And so yeah, I don't want to get into a huge conversation and have you guys attached to each blood type being a specific thing, because I do believe that no matter what, only part of your soul has ever been here. So depending on where you've been with your other soul pieces, I don't want you to attach to that. So yeah. Absolutely. So I shouldn't have gone that far with it. It's created a whole chat.
But like I said, it's connected to the body. And what's important is from here down, it's those 350 nerve receptors you've spoken about.
Yeah.
What is it that feeds the lungs? What is it that feeds the liver and your kidneys? What is all the good things that helps keep these organs functioning for this vessel that you are within and reside? Your body does tell you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And not only that, it's being like, how are you feeling? It's connecting it all together and trying to symbiotically operate that way so that you are much more operating from your heart and not just your mind, right? We've already talked about your subconscious programming. And so a lot of you have done a lot of research to reprogram your subconscious. Keep going. Don't stop questing. Quest for that truth for you and what makes you tick. Yeah. So that's really important, because each and every day, sometimes it takes just sitting and being to figure out what you should do next. So, but our mind wants us to, like, it's a program to go, do. And so when you can slow things down and go, but how does that make me feel? And can I think bigger? Can I expand more on this versus playing small, because we've all been brainwashed to play small. And so I have no idea what I'll be doing in a year. I have some desires, but it's not always totally up to me. It's up to the steps I take from now until then, for how do I feel when I take those steps and what grows from that, and allowing it to go further. Yeah, 17Q says silence gives answers. You want to talk about how you got quiet and you tend to sit in nature and just allow answers to come. And you have, in my opinion, a great gift of seeing, so to speak, in a different way than most, and traveling as well. Do you want to share a little more on that?
Yeah, it's something that I had to allow over time, because just like any of you, there were times that my mind was going because we were so overstimulated, because I was watching TV, I was going out, I was being 20 something, whatever it may be. So up to the point of 33, what life I lived from moving out, because I moved out at 17. I was ready to get out and know what life was about. I could care less about school and things like that. So once I got out and had those experiences, I eventually came to a place where I felt like I lost who I was in that and all that. And so at 33, I moved to the city and just began to get to know who I was again by reading many books, by watching many YouTube videos that kept me current in some of the situations that were taking place in the world at that time. So over time, I would begin to set more and more with myself. I would sit and I would just read a book, even if that was something that helped to help me with the thoughts that were going in my mind, where I could get rid of anything that didn't serve me in my purpose of getting to know who I was in this world, to where I was able to slow it down enough to where if my focus was on anything, it was on what I was reading. And I was reading a lot of books, especially in 2009 and 2010. So that's where I was able to take any information that I had that didn't serve me and put it out and replace it with things that was serving me. And with that reading of the books, it helped me to understand my mind more and how it works, how it processes. And this is how I retrained my way of thinking, was by giving it something to focus on that was helping me to grow within my understanding of self, to where eventually I could go out and be by myself all the time. I could go out and eat by myself. I could be in a house by myself for a week and be just fine. And as I did this, the more and more I was able to come into some of my gifts or abilities or tools, whatever it is you want to call it or define it. And the more I sat with myself, the more I began to understand my difference in this world, where I could not conform with that, where others were a little more conforming to some of the conditions and the propagandas and things like that. But in that, I discovered more about who I was. That way, I wouldn't be sitting here right now with you, or even here in front of a camera doing a live, if I hadn't have taken that if I had not been on that journey to self rediscovery of who I am. And by being able to do this and connect with you and FCB and all the rest, it's been beautiful, because I've made more connections. And it's beautiful because it's like, for a long time, no matter who I was with, I always felt alone. And so it's beautiful just sitting here and be able to, tell my story, because that's all I can tell you is my story. But I can tell you that, excuse me, sorry about that. But I can tell you that it's a beautiful thing, and I'm appreciative of it. I gotta get something to drink. Sorry about that.
All good. Take your time. And so, just so you guys know, Norma's from Georgia. She's in Vancouver. She's downstairs at my house, and we've been working on some things together. And 17Q's commenting on the painting behind the wall. It's actually a light, my dining room light reflection. It's got all these little coils on it that refracts out. Yeah, and throws out a crazy light. Yeah, which gives a pretty cool background, actually. Yeah, absolutely. So Penny Lane says, "We love you, Norma. You inspire me to get where you are." And also as asking, Penny Lane's also asking, what's Norma's favorite author or book?
Oh, wow. There's so many. But I can tell you, when I moved to Atlanta and I started reading Conversation with God books, the trilogy by Neil Donald Walsh.
Yeah.
And from there, it just expanded. I read all the books from Abraham Hicks. These were just tools at the time that I utilized to help me become more calm in who I was, and to get to know more about who I am. So right now it's gone beyond all that, and I've read Joe Dispenza. I've read so much. So anything that you feel that can help provide you with that peace of mind, depending on how the information that you're reading resonates with you. And I'm sorry, I got a tickle in my throat now.
This is an energy thing.
It is, and a lot of it is because I am speaking about self. So
yeah,
this first time's been to more than just a handful of people. So I guess you could say there's a little bit of that throat chakra that's opening up to be able to share this with people. And I guess that little bit of scared little knot that might have been there for many years is starting to present itself. But yeah, anything that you can resonate with is a tool. It's just a tool. It's a guide, and that's how I utilize this in the things that I resonated with. I took and used it to build upon myself from, and anything that I was like, that doesn't resonate so much, I just let it go. So it's all about what you resonate with, because there are certain words or certain ways that you read words that will trigger things within you that you'll be like, or So when you feel that, that's your body telling you there's something about that.
Yeah. Did you notice the header just changed?
Oh.
FCB just popped in the studio, you guys, and fixed that.
Thank you, FCB.
Ask and you shall receive, right? If you don't ask.
Right? Closed mouths don't get fed. I'm just saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny you mentioned Neil Donald Walsh, because I have a photo with him from when I was in Mind Valley and doing, I call it personal development, right? And this is what we're doing. We're trying to develop ourselves because we have this huge quest for information, but it's not the education that they're trying to give us. So then we're still consuming information, because as human beings, if you're not changing and evolving, you're becoming stagnant. And when you become stagnant, your body will go into disease. We are meant to be moving. We are meant to be connected. We are meant to be always growing and further elevating ourselves. And that's why, when we look to elders, they're really important. They've got so much wisdom. They know what's been going on. And so this is critical, I believe. Is that sense of community that, you put the young ones and the old ones together, because the young ones are entertaining the older ones. Like it should all be together. Yeah. So I think it's a really beautiful symbiotic thing I can see happening in the future. And so, yeah. And I think I truly believe that once that shift, and it's happening more every single day, we can feel the collective. The birds was saying today to Norma that the birds are acting funny. Like they're acting like, don't know where my next meal's coming from, so I'm just going to eat all I can. It's like they're eating nervously almost, which is very interesting. And the squirrels, and it's like nonstop. And so I believe they're picking up on that collective energy, and people that are struggling, they're feeling that, right? Because a lot of people are struggling. So, but if
Yep.
you can just be the observer and not the absorber, it makes it a hell of a lot easier. I wonder if we can teach the birds that.
You know, we do. If you can understand how to have that dominion over
Yeah.
the animals, of course, you know, and a lot of it has to do with understanding, like you were talking about. We can't stay stagnant because we are the currency, because we are the value, because we're so worthy. So
Yes.
yeah, definitely never stop. Always want to know. Always want to know. And I know that, you know, throughout this process of my own growth was I always wanted to know. And I always questioned. I was always wanting to at least get as far as I could to the knowing of what it was that I was focused on. You know, given that, you know, internet came around and really took off in the 90s. Well, that's when I got out and started living a lot of life. So it was always me, always asking questions, always, always, always. And that's what, you know, helped me in my growth, was always asking questions, not just about life, but about myself. How does this affect me? Am I a part of the problem, or a part of the solution, or am I coming up with solutions to problems that I see? So yeah, always want to know more about yourself.
Yeah.
Then you'll know what this world is.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it even even for my daughter Jade, when she was in school, and she had to go see the counselor. She was really upset one day, and I had to send her the counselor because I wasn't in town. I'm like, you got to go talk to the counselor. Go find one that you resonate with and just go. And she did. And the counselor called me. She says, yeah, so your daughter Jade is not going to jump through hoops for anybody. And I was like, oh yeah, I know that. Not even for me, right? Like she was just that strong in her own beliefs. Like, why am I studying for these tests only to forget the information? This isn't
Right.
relevant. And so to really stand in your power and choose what you want to learn and choose what you want to grow. And Jade spends quite a bit of time on the computer, but this is really critical to understand. If your kids are gaming, this is a huge skill set for moving forward in a new way, to be artistic in a different way. And what they're also doing is, I don't agree with what's going on out in the world, but this little world of mine I can control,
Yes.
and I can do this, and I can feel better. Yeah, absolutely. Penny Lane's mentioning the 4 agreements. Anyone read? Be impeccable with your word.
Yes.
100%. That's a
Yes.
good book. Yogananda was a good book. I enjoyed that one. Anything that you want to read about energy or Reiki, quantum, understanding understanding the true science of what's really going on in frequency and energy, getting to understand all of that. These will be
Mhm.
very powerful moving forward. This is what I picked up on with the birds, right? It was like, something interesting, right? Everyone's talking about the animals. The blue jays are active. The squirrels are really active. Yeah, pigeons, and they're not afraid. No,
Nope.
I think that those that are aware and observing them in a new way, and actually by doing an energy exchange with them, you're now connecting with them, even though you may not understand what's being said. Dolores
Yes.
Cannon, Convoluted
Yeah.
Universe. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
J. Krishnamurti, um, you know, of course, Wayne Dyer. I even read, of course, I'm telling you guys, I've read so much over these years. I couldn't tell you until, I mean, y'all sitting here talking about them like, yes, I've read all those, read all those, read all those. I was always reading because I was always wanting information. And that's all it was for me, was information. And take that information, like I said, and see what resonated and what didn't. And then I just apply it to my life each and every day to catch myself, so that way I'm able to change the habits or the conditioning that I wasn't aware enough of at the time, where these books helped me to understand how to be aware and stop myself in moments where I could change that for me, much less the other individual that was just playing that specific role for me to become aware of. So that was the beauty of all this, as I've come to this place, is that when you come to understand that everybody plays a role, even you with them, then you see the beauty in this process of life where we all chose to come here and do this for one another, regardless of what that role was or what it is, because the soul is always asking those questions, whether you're aware of it or not. But when you become involved, then you get to become more aware of what's taking place over time, because then you begin to see the bigger picture to what this life actually presents. And that's the present of the gift of a moment with someone else or with an experience.
Yeah, 100%. And being the observer means not just listening to respond, but listening to hear, to feel, to have that heart to heart connection. Because once you have that, it is so much easier to have somebody shift a belief or see something from your perspective. Yeah. Sometimes you're the catalyst for someone else's lessons. Anytime you're triggered, it's always, oh, awesome. That was a huge trigger. So why was I triggered by that? And go back and figure it out. Because those are gifts. It's not for you to turn around and lambaste them or scream at them. It's not for you to fix them. They have to choose to fix themselves and change themselves. Nobody can do that for them. Yeah. Penny Lane's got another book, Journey of the Souls, the study of what your soul does in between lives. Cool. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And Thich Nhat Hanh. Absolutely. Very wise words. Jay Shetty. Like there's a bunch of people out there that you know, Vishen Lakhiani. I went through all of those teachers there and definitely studied with some of them. And it's those little, it's one little phrase that you're like, oh, I'm going to keep that one. That one really resonates. And then you like the chuck it in the fuck it bucket. That came out of my kid's mouth. And that has gone on for years. It's one of those ones that's really stuck. But when I say it to people, it has them lighten up because they laugh about it. It gives them a tool to use that helps to lighten them up and share with others. And it's just a good way. If I can't control and I can't change that, well, chuck it in the fuck it bucket and don't forget to empty it as often as you need to, or burn it, whatever you choose to do.
Burn, baby, burn. Yeah, I mean, of course. Just
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And Embergo says, I learned how to meditate while washing dishes, the simplest of practices, but profound. Yes.
Very much.
Yes. Absolutely.
Things.
Yeah.
The mindless things that create the greatest meditations.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Washing dishes, going for a walk out in nature, not listening to anything, but listening to nature instead, right? Cleaning the house. Take those tasks that you almost do unconsciously, like I call driving drivitating, because I really just sit back and I just let my focus go, and right, and away we go. Yeah. Oh, Eckhart Tolle's book, The New Earth. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, whatever you need to do. And then, you know, having a shower, giving your body some self-care. Like, oh, my skin's really dry. I should put something on, right? Whether you're using lotion or castor oil or coconut oil, whatever you're using for that. And then finding, what does my body need? What do I need to do for me right now? What do I need to do to feel better? What do I need to, what is so I've been really focused recently, especially because Norma's here as well. And I know her diet's been shit when she was back in Georgia. It's been a real focus on that microbiome basis that's needed of up to 30 items, as Chef Agat says, 30 different foods a week. Well, we eat more than that, but different like microgreens, right? So we don't eat the same thing consistently. It's always moving, webbing, and combining things. And especially I'm a big fan of like, what's in the fridge and freezer that needs to be eaten? What can I make with this? And dry brushing. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, you guys. Life on the Mothership, Palladian Perspective on Ascension. There was another Palladian book that I read that was really good. And I think it was called New Earth. And that one, I wish I read it a few years ago. A lot of it, I was like, oh yeah. But there were some good pieces in there. Dry brushing up to your heart. So start at your feet and pull up. So you want to brush to the direction of your heart. That's been my understanding of that one. Yeah. And so if we take our time and instead of trying to change others around us and we focus just on us, life gets a lot easier. Your life might actually get smaller, but it gets bigger at the same time. So you're growing in a new way. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, since we're on the subject as well, is like, you know, when we were talking a little earlier about, people are just the reflection of the things that we want to see about ourselves, so that we may change them. But here's the beauty in this too, is as time goes on and as we continue to get to know more about who we are individually as well as collectively, we're not going to need to use one another as mirrors anymore. Then we truly get to know each other individually and enjoy one another. And you get to know who someone else is individually, but yet do it as a whole, as a collective, because then we all resonate with one another. Right now, we're doing what we need to do with one another throughout this process to help each other recognize first who we are for self, who we are first. So that way we can see another. We can watch them become each day, every moment of every second. And there's the beauty, that's the gift, and that's the present of life. And that's how I perceive everything that I've come into, because the more I get to know who I am, the more I'm able to recognize someone else. And if you meet someone now and you don't see them for 10 years, guess what? You're going to know exactly who they are when you meet them, because you're going to know their energy, because you didn't have to use them as a mirror or for a mirror anymore for self, yet realize that they did assist in that. Then you got to know who they were through that process. And that's what's the beauty of all this, is getting to know each other individually in time, where when we see one another, we're joyful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And just for those that don't know, the 17Q is FCB's right hand and left hand and all around energy supporter. And she does something called gematria. And gematria is the letters of the alphabet from A is 1 all the way through, add up to numbers. So when you take a phrase, or you take your name even in a word, you can go look up on a gematria calculator and you will find other similar words, which is a way I was guided on my first trip through Egypt, was to use gematria that way. And so it's a really good way to kind of stay on top of that. Yeah, absolutely. And just get more ideas. Same with the dosing, body dosing. What do you need to know for what's true for you versus what might be true for somebody else? So I love that. It's so good. There we go. Yeah. And Norma, everyone's loving what you're saying. So just know that you're loved. Yeah. And she didn't do anything crazy. Neither of us have done anything. It's always in the simple things. And it's actually just working on getting that mind to slow down, the mind to train the mind, because your mind is yours. It's important to have it.
It is. It's very much yours. So it's yours. Do what you will with it. And understand the words that I speak here. It's yours.
Yeah.
It's no one else's. And that's where we begin to take ourselves back, and we start to give ourselves back to ourselves, is by taking our focus off the things that really, in the end, become what we want them to become, because we work on self and become self first. So that way we begin to see the change.
Yeah. And self-care is never selfish. Hello, Ada. Thank you for sharing that. My ex-husband's last words was, "I hope you find yourself." If you only knew. I happen to know how spiritual Ada is. So thank you, Ada, for sharing that. And it's true. Quite often people don't see. Yeah. It's only once my dad passed and he's on the other side do I actually, he obviously he knows what was really going on now, and he didn't before. So yeah, it's fascinating. So yeah. And he's always been sort of kicking my ass from the other side in the right direction. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Be the change you want to see. Absolutely, you guys. Yeah, and keep it simple. That's right. Always keep it simple. Yeah, there's nothing to make more complicated. You don't even need any external tools, although I can say things like sound baths are nice, and having a bath is really good. Cold dipping is really good. Like whatever makes you feel more alive, whatever makes you laugh out loud and brings you joy. I started, what song what did I say this morning to the cat?
Oh,
What was that That song.
Oh, it's
So
the end of the world as we know it.
yeah. Standing in the kitchen and the cat had been meowing all morning. Even though I gave him food, even though I'd go give him pets, he just didn't shut up this morning. And then out of my mouth comes, "It's the end of the world as we know it." And I was like, what?
Where did that come from? What triggered that? Although I'm fine, yes, but what triggered that? She's like, a song to the cat. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. Right? And I feel fine. So then I went and played the song so we could hear the whole thing. I actually played it a couple times. And it's like, it's amazing when you go back to these old songs, right?
Mm-hmm.
What comes through intuitively is to, get there. Oh yeah, the cat's talking to me, but maybe that's what he was saying.
It's amazing that when you do go back and hear like the songs from the 70s and the 80s, especially specific artists or bands, you hear what they're saying so totally different from what you did when you were younger. And it's like, wow, why didn't I hear that in the first place?
Because you weren't in the same space you are now. Yeah. Right? Keeping centered with yourself. Absolutely. Yeah. And there's somebody had a good saying the other day, like, when I'm in a group of people that I want to make sure I don't say things, they're gently biting my tongue. I'm like, oh, that's what it takes for you. That's what it takes. I just get even quieter and quieter and kind of think back. And I'm just like, I'm just going to observe as much as I can within this room, right? And see what's going on. I actually have a couple events this week. One is a bit more of a networking event per se, and another one is some travel women. I'm just seeing what kind of connections are out there for that. Yeah, and seeing, and I can do that because I can just observe. Yeah, Penny Lane says yes. Pink Floyd's "Comfortably Numb" fits some people these days. Yeah. Rush, all the world is a stage. We're merely players, performers, and portrayers. Yes. Oh, I like these games, guys.
Right?
Any other songs, guys? Come on, bring them on. Bring them on. What other songs can you think of, Lorna, that really flip for you?
Oh, no, sorry.
That's okay. Billy Joel's song, "Only the Good Die Young," pissed me off, and he was the one that touched Littles. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, that's not fun.
Well, a lot of like Phil Collins, I resonate with a lot with Phil Collins songs, and here we go. What's up, LCB?
How you going, darling? How you going? How you girls going? Good?
Woohoo!
Did you like my little handiwork there in the background?
Yeah, that was good. That was
beautiful.
Really sneaky.
No worries. As you said, you ask and you will receive. Yes, of course. And I heard your cat. I hope your cat's okay.
Oh, the cat's fine.
Said or something. Put a curse on him.
No, I just kept sending him love, and I just I think he's also feeling all the energies, and he's like, what the hell's going on?
He didn't get into the magic mushroom stash.
No. Very carefully with the cat on that.
I think he just had a lot to say because we was gone for so long. He's like, okay, and I had so much to say. There was nobody for me to talk to, and now you're here, and now we got so much to tell you.
So I'm looking forward to launching the new Soul Tribe.
Yes.
It'll be great. Us three would be great.
Yes.
It'll be great. So for those who don't know, I'll put up an announcement up on the Telegram channels that, we'd like to wish Medina all the very best in her future endeavors. So we're taking over Soul Tribe, and we're actually going to, spice it up a bit. There'll be us one day, and you might find someone else the next, and you know what I mean? You don't know what you'll find on Soul Tribe. So we're going to mix it up, isn't it right, Tanja?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're gonna bring on different energy people, different soulful people, so you guys can all have another little bit different perspective all the time versus the consistent perspectives you have on some of the shows. So it's nice to mix it up a bit. Absolutely.
Yes. So how you ladies been? Okay? All good?
Oh yeah, we just had a week of the debt. Oh yeah.
Spectacular.
I can't wait to go over there. You're gonna, well, it's gonna happen there. When I go over there, I'll be doing some fishing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. There's fish there for you. Yeah, the eagles
Yep.
don't hang out on that lake for nothing. Yeah,
But it'd be good.
absolutely.
And I think it's the most appropriate spot too to be able to do the seminars, because what we'll be doing is the US Canada tour, and it'll be 2 days per spot. So wherever we're going to be, and it's going to be more of a chilled, relaxed environment, guys. It's not going to be like FCB coming out and doing star jumps and belly flops and all that sort of thing. We love that. You know what I mean? It's not going to be like Anthony Robbins style. No, no, no. It's going to be really chilled, real relaxed. And we want people to interact, Tanya, exactly like, what goes on here. You know what I mean? When we bring callers in and all that sort of stuff, we want people to interact and, just have a great time. That's what it's all going to be about.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so the places that we're going to be choosing are like things like ranches, retreats, stuff like that. Places where it's going to be easy for people to access, those sort of places, and just we can chill out, have a barbie. You know what I mean? Yours truly will cook for you as well. Don't worry about that one. Yeah, since I like
Yep.
to cook.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, part of cooking with family is part of that connection in the kitchen and connecting with the food. It's actually really important for the body. Like whenever I'm cooking something, I'm like, oh, my taste buds are getting excited. Like you just start warming the body up to accept the food and
Yeah.
take what it needs from it. It's part of the laughter anyway.
Happened last night.
How you been, Norma? You been good?
Life is just so much fun right now, FCB, that I'm just waiting to see what else it has to provide and show us as we continue to go on in this journey. So yeah.
Oh yeah, look, so many things that are happening. It's just exciting, and this is the thing, and I try to get people to comprehend that it's important to, obviously keep yourself centered, because a lot of stuff is coming our way. I could see it. Like I'm always, seeing what's out there. Got the finger on the pulse, pun intended, right? So we're always seeing what's going on around there, and there's a lot of flood coming, a lot of things that'll be changing, say, the world's energy. What we need to do, as Tanya keeps saying, being the observer, very important, and not getting involved in the shit fest. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Don't get involved. Let it just happen, okay? And just be in a great headspace. That's what I keep saying to people, because the things that are coming out now is just phenomenal. I laugh at it. Sometimes I just sit there and I laugh. I think it's a joke, to be quite honest. Like, what's happening in Israel and Hamas, right? I've seen so many video footage of, people, the hostages giving high fives to the captures, the ones that captured them. I've seen just ridiculous things that it's definitely a whiteout production. So that's why it doesn't worry me. This shit doesn't worry me at all.
No.
Yeah.
If it does, you shouldn't be watching it. If it's energetically draining you, frustrating you, making you depressed, don't watch it. Because if you test yourself, take half a day and go do something you love to do, and tell me you come back and you fully missed what was going on and you shouldn't have done what you did. Like, it just won't happen. We were gone for a week. Yeah, there we go. Another week went by. It's like enjoying life, because that's what's most important to me, is to not stop, freeze, and drop, because that's just really depressing for me. Oh, I can't do that. Not at all.
It's always about what's going on with me.
Yeah.
What's taking place within me? What do I need to focus on that may be drawing my attention or taking my focus off the things that I know that are most important first for me, so that way I know how to be and do for others that may need that guidance or may need to be given those tools. Of course, yes. Always what is going on with me first.
Yeah. I agree, ladies. I totally agree 100%. I mean, whenever I want to relax, I just listen to you two. mental for
Mission
connection.
accomplished.
Yeah, exactly. I just listen to you guys and I just chill out, and it's like, oh yeah, I feel relaxed now. You know what I mean?
About the
And that's
energy.
what we need. We need that balance. We really need that balance. I mean, that's what what I've always envisioned in this. Even my dog agrees with this. Let's
This
go.
is about time.
What I'm saying is that this is what I envisioned for what we do here in the Freedom Channel broadcast, is that we have a balance. Balance is very important. Yes, you want to know what's going on. Fine, we do that. We got everything, and it's about also, your spiritual welfare. That's one thing that's been very big in this, because at the end of the day, ladies, this is a spiritual war that we're in.
A war
And,
on consciousness.
and what do we need? We need to put on, our spiritual armor. Okay. And that's where, Tanya, when you said about, creating barriers and blockages, not blockages, but shields. That's right, shields to protect ourselves, because there's a lot of people out there that their energy is just flying left, right, and center. And, you just got to block it. You really got to you put your shields up. Okay, so that's you. That's a reflection of you. And even if they try to project that reflection of who you are, that's just their reflection. That's just a reflection of them and how they're feeling. Simple. That's what I do. And, we just empower ourselves, because what do? By blocking that energy, we don't have to accept it. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And what do? We focus on our inner work, our inner sanctum, doing our meditation, connecting with nature, all that, getting ourselves in a great headspace, raising our vibration. And these things shift our reality, our awareness. What do you think?
100%. Absolutely. And, in a lot of ways, there's a comment here regarding Norma. We've seen Norma grow in the last few months. Freedom Liberty Lover says it's a wonderful reflection of how much we have grown as well. Yeah. Every one of us has shifted and changed. So we're leading by example, and FCB is starting to speak to this more and more every day as people get more discombobulated. It's more important that you stay within and you pull your energy back, because you can't control what's going on out there. It's not going to help you. So every day, how am I doing today? Do I really need to know about that? Is that going to shift my reality? So we were talking about, is the world flat or is it round? It doesn't
give a shit, to be
how does
quite
that
honest.
affect your day? It doesn't.
Well, long as you get it, all right, to know stuff, yeah. But do you have to, constantly be absorbed into it? No. You're going to become a basket case.
Yeah.
Sorry, Norman, what were you going to say, love?
No, it's about the world within first. How's the world within you first? Because the world within is what's creating the world without.
Exactly. You get it. You really get it, because the thing is, it's doing the inner work that counts. Shit's going to be falling all around us, but because we got our, ourselves together inside, because we're focusing on our inner work, and guys, it's every single day you got to do it. You can't just say, "Oh yeah, I'll do my inner work today and forget about it tomorrow." It's a constant progress. I'm telling you guys, that's what I'm saying. It's like exercise. You know what I mean? You stop exercising, well, then you get muscle atrophy, and you don't your muscles sort of lose, and you lose muscle and all that sort of stuff. But you get what I mean. It's like anything, guys. I mean, there's got to be balance. There's got to be physical balance. There's got to be mental balance and spiritual balance. Very important.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's just it. It's actually really all about balance. It's about balancing your mind with your heart and your soul. That's really what the trifecta is. And as that comes in, and as we're focusing on our DNA and shifting that and opening things up, the energies this weekend have been insane. Insanely good, in my opinion. Now, some people aren't feeling great, but that's because it's an upgrade. So it's pushing out anything that no longer serves you and then bringing more. I mean, my crown's been super on fire. I feel like any day I'm going to start fucking flying around in the sky like a helicopter my head. I'm like, okay, can we get it any more activated? And then I could feel work going on here. And I know I'm not alone because I hear other people talking about it. So if you're not feeling great, don't beat yourself up. You're getting an upgrade. How beautiful. Be grateful for it. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
You know, and what's happening to us is all necessary, guys. I mean, that's why I say be in the attitude of gratitude because, you know, never before have we experienced this. Never.
No.
And then I say, thank you, honestly, for, you know, for giving us the opportunity because, look, we're old souls too.
Yeah.
You know, we've been around the block quite a few times. And let me tell you, we've been called to do this.
Yeah.
So it's no coincidence why all of us, including everyone that's listening right now, has been called to do what we're doing right now.
Absolutely. Everyone that's here. I'm just laughing because M. Kimbrough says, let's do it. And then all I get is, let's do it. Let's do it.
That's it.
Right. And it's taking out, I can take any phrase and start singing a song. I was singing about methylene blue earlier. Like it's just,
Penny the blue tongue
It's so
lizard.
much fun.
I love it.
It's so much fun. Yes, she is such a joy. It's so much fun. So much.
You'll fit in Australia quite well, Tanya, you know, amongst the blue tongue lizards.
yeah, it's just a matter of like being really, thanks, Tally, for sharing that. Yeah, my crown has been tingling a lot. That's your crown of thorns. It's, you know, you're firing new neurons. It's being activated for you. Your antenna's being tuned. How beautiful.
Exactly.
Yeah, and the great thing is now you don't come up saying, "Oh, I feel sick." No. You're like, "Oh, great, let's go. Let's see what comes next. Let's see what I got to come. You know, what tools? Oh, I can't wait." So it's like we get to have a different experience. Let's go around about what our body's doing than ever before, and we get to choose that. So choose your words wisely.
That's what I say, Norma, all the time. I mean, you know, our words are vibration. You know, so obviously, whatever we talk, whatever, it actually vibrates at a frequency, and that's why what I've learned, and as Teddy said, like we're evolving in this journey. That I've learned quite a bit as far as the words that I use. You know, when I speak, I think before I speak. That's what, you know. You actually think, and you choose your words wisely, in the sense that whatever you say, it manifests in the physical realm. So be very careful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should I mention what I'm reading?
Yeah.
All right, give me just a second because I got to look at it again here.
Okay, I'm just going to answer something. So you look it up for a second, and then I'm just going to answer. So someday I want to hear your Fuck It Bucket song. Okay, I'm going to get FCB to help me, and we're going to write a Fuck It Bucket song just for you guys.
All right.
I can already feel it coming on. So yeah.
No worries. We'll chuck it all in the Fuck It Bucket.
Actually, Diane, the one that we was house sitting for up in Vedette Lake, actually it made me aware of this book because, like you, FCB, etymology is very important. It's vitally important to understand the words that we use because that's how they came down to confuse us to begin with. So the book that she sent me right now, which is a PDF, is called The Language Crystal. It's the complete solution to civilization's oldest puzzle. And it's written by Lawrence William Lyons. And I believe it was written in 86. I believe it's, let's see. I'm
getting the link, guys. Hold on.
Yeah. So this is what I'm reading right now. And the way that he's presenting some of the information that took place in the 80s, where he's using numbers and the etymology of the Ra, and well, actually R and L, and he even speaks about dyslexia, and it not being what everybody was saying it is. It's all in actuality so much more meaningful than we've ever been able to define it to be. So I don't want to give any clues or anything. If anybody wants to go read it, this would be a great book.
That'd be great.
For anyone who wants to utilize it to understand the what spelling really is, where it began, how it's utilized, and how each number and letter and how it's used can shift shift an
Yeah.
event or cause an event to take place. So that's what I'm reading right now. So
Oh, that's
there you
awesome.
go.
Yeah, that's something that I'd be interested in, because I truly believe like the etymology of words is very important because that's how they've created confusion. In other words, when we speak nonsensical, it just keeps us in a loop.
Babel.
And
Mhm.
that's what they call yeah, exactly, babble, and that's what they call spelling. Really, they're getting us to do black magic and spells and all that sort of stuff. Now, for example, did you know? I actually did some research on this. In Western society, we blow our candles when we say happy birthday and all that. Although that's a spell, that's a black magic spell. Let me tell you that much. Right, so they got us doing that and reinforcing that we're snuffing out a year each time. That's what we're doing to ourselves.
Yeah.
So rather than living to our full potentiality as source, as God intended, they're putting this black magic on us. We're doing it to ourselves, right?
Mhm.
Now, did you know that, for example, that it's forbidden in the Ashkenazi Jews to do not do that? They do not. They don't blow out candles because it represents life. Why are we
Yeah.
doing that? Why are we doing the opposite? They got us doing the opposite.
Well,
Do you know what I mean?
fire is what's linked to the word to begin with.
Exactly. So if light, that's light, that represents light. We're blowing each year, and we're so basically, when they say, how old are you? That you put it up there, all that sort of stuff. So you're reinforcing that. You're also putting it in your psychology as well,
Mhm.
and that's what we've got to get rid of, these sort of things. And also, I know we're leading up to Christmas. That's another one. That's a big one. Because people got to get that the 25th of December, and that's where what we got to do, guys, is transmute that energy. So even if it's a negative energy, a satanic energy, let's grab that energy on that day and transmute it to a positive energy. That's what I believe. What do you think?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. At all fronts, right? Like, now Jade being almost 18 is pretty much over the whole Halloween thing, but we were in Greece. There was nothing about Halloween.
Exactly. That doesn't
Nothing.
exist
I
there.
was like, yeah.
It doesn't exist there, Halloween and all that sort of stuff in Greece. No, they're
Yeah.
very, very, even Christmas, right? To give you a comprehension, the real Christmas day, or the date that, they go by the Julian calendar, the 7th
Right.
of January, right? But get this, they've shifted it to the 25th, all right? So realistically speaking, they're going against their own teachings. However, there's only one place in Greece that practices the Julian calendar, and that is in Mount Athos, which is up, Thessaloniki, up there,
Yeah.
the monks there. So they go by what they call Byzantine time, the Julian calendar, and the rest of the world follows.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's so much more to this that the truth when it comes out, it will hit a lot of people in the heart.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So, and we shall see how that unfolds. Are you on tonight, FCD?
Yeah, I am. I got the vent. So
Where
with
did you
Dave,
go?
so yeah, what it is, this show is to give people the opportunity to vent, to be able to express
Perfect.
themselves, to see how they're traveling. You know what I mean? That's what we've been doing, like, ladies, is that doing shows like Driven, the vent, and all that gives people the opportunity to have their say, because it's very
Yeah,
important to hear what people have to say as well.
Very much so.
absolutely.
Very much so.
And
Yes.
we want them to know that they're not alone on this journey. We're all in this together. Where we go, on we go. And that's what we do. We encourage people to speak. And you know what the thing is, Tanya, you've been on Driven, how you see how a person that actually rang, I can't remember the lady's name, but she rang and she goes, it took me a lot of courage to get on this and do this. Remember the first time? She's
Yeah.
ever spoken, yeah. And you said public speaking is, people fear that more than death.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's huge to overcome that and overcome the fear of death itself is like the biggest breakthrough for people to realize, oh, I don't die when I'm done here. In fact, when you wake up from this, what most people have said is like, oh, that was like nothing because I've been around for so much longer. So this is to, make the most of what you can. Find the joy where you can. It is the most important thing is to have joy in your heart and love. Yeah.
Exactly.
And
So, if
operate.
you, I don't know if you ladies are doing anything, you want to come over for a bit, you're welcome. I'm opening up the invitation to you.
Awesome. Okay.
All
We'll
right.
pop over for a little bit. We've got something to go pick up downtown, but I got to watch the traffic for it. So yeah,
No worries. It'd
give
be
us,
good
give
to.
us 15 or so to do bathroom breaks and get drinks refilled.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Because what we, as I said, it's great to have people. Everyone's different, got a different perspective on things. And it's great to get an say Tanya's take, Norma's take. You know what I mean on things that because we don't see things the same, and that's the beauty of it. You get that the variety, and I think it's very important.
100%. And that is on Telegram?
No.
On StreamYard.
Yes.
We're just letting everyone know. So they're going to find it and it's posted there.
You're going to find us on Rumble. We'll be on Rumble.
Perfect. Okay.
All right, I'll see you ladies in there. All right.
All right, you guys. And in the meantime, we'll just say our goodbyes for the day so we don't leave you hanging. There you go. You want to hear more from us today? We're going to pop on. Give us about 15 minutes from now. And I just want to say thank you so much for being here, for sharing all your songs, all your books, all your stories. And yeah, this is a frequency family, a soul tribe to get together and to feel like, oh my God, I belong to something. I fit in. How beautiful is that? Norma, you want to add anything?
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Like I said, or as I explained earlier, it's great to come here and know that connection can easily be made now, as where in 20s and 30s, and even to a certain degree to my 40s, it was like, is this ever going to take? Is this ever going to happen? Where connection is actually going to be a something that happens naturally, because I knew it had to exist, or I wouldn't have been longing for it for so long, just as probably most everyone here. So yeah, keep the connection going. Keep getting to know more and more about who you are. Give you back to you. That is the most important and vital, just beautiful thing you can do for you. And love who you are, regardless of the choices and the things that you want to question about yourself, because it doesn't matter, people. You get to choose to change that. You just only must do one thing: know thyself and be more aware of thyself. And that's all it takes. And those connections will come and come and come and come, and they'll grow, and you'll feel the love, and the love will expand, and that love will bring so many different new journeys and experiences. And there's some things I can't even give you words for. So please get to know who you are.
Yeah.
I look forward to knowing who you are.
Yeah. Fall in love with you. Because when you fall in love with you, nothing else matters. You can spend time alone. You can go out and do things on you. You never feel like, I'm so lonely, because I hear that a lot. I'm so lonely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, get to know you. You'll never be lonely, because there's an infinite amount of fun and playfulness and information within you that you get to discover. It's the best, absolute best. It is the best adventure for connection you can have.
I love having conversations with myself now, because now it's like you move, even if you get in an argument, you're like, oh, how is this going to play out?
I wonder what magic's going to happen today.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, you guys, we love you. We'll see you here in a little bit over on Driven on the FCB Rumble channel. Bye. We love you.